Hello, flatties and globe defenders, critical think from down under. Today I have with me a well-known and loved science defender. He lives on the south coast of the UK, where he works in his own private tuition business that tutors children in maths and science. Before turning to education as a career, he worked in retail and leisure for over 10 years. A little later in life, he went back to college to do A-levels in maths, physics and environmental science. Not only that, he's studying to achieve a degree in astronomy and planetary science. Wow! He loves to read books, mostly science-related, and gets really stuck into the science fiction. He astounded everyone when he hit the YouTube jackpot with the now infamous Swinging Gate video, which sent his subs skyrocketing. He does excellent work with his witty takedown of bad science on the internet. So won't you please welcome the enemy of flat earthers everywhere, the witty, the super science defender, SciManDan.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So congratulations on your now nearly 120k subs. That's absolutely amazing, really.
Yeah. Bit of a shock, but yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, I just one burning question of mine is that in your first videos you did over the first few months, you sat by the window, but then you've changed it. You moved the bookshelves around and everything. You know, why did you do that?
Well, partly because people were saying there's too much light in the picture. I mean, I'm you could probably tell I'm not an expert at technology stuff. You know, science I'm fine, but tech I'm not great. And I thought, yeah, you know, there is, to be fair, there's a lot of light coming in from that side, no matter how I had the setup. And I tried it, so I moved the room around a bit. I tried it kind of opposite the window, so the light was hitting me, and it seemed to work well, so I stuck with it.
Yeah, well, it does seem to work well. And so on to something a little bit more serious. You, I noticed that, like the flatties, they have no really good idea of why we actually might do this, trying to correct their science. But I know that you've said like you cannot in good conscience allow people to talk about this topic as if it's real. And you've also said that, yeah, it just irks you that people will come up with this bad science. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of probably one of the primary reasons why I started the channel was through, because I'd never seen it before. Like most people, you don't hear of flat Earth unless you stumble across it or someone tells you about it. And I was watching a Cosmic Skeptic video on YouTube, and he did a video on flat earthers, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I took everything that I knew, all of the science that I've studied, and I thought I'm going to try and disprove some of these flat Earth theories, and it turned out to be fairly easy. So I thought I'd keep going, and it's kind of snowballed from there, really.
I think snowball's a little bit of an understatement, don't you think?
Yeah. I'd say so.
So now, when of course everybody was totally caught by surprise with the Swinging Gate and what happened with that, and you were the first one, but since then, of course, Wolfie has had the same thing happen to him. So people at the time were telling you that you bought subs, and that I just don't think that's right, though.
Well, they still are. They still are. I can't get rid of it. I mean, I don't know what else to do, and I've tried to give proofs of where my subscribers are from, located, and all that. I've gone live. I've had over 3,000 live watchers in a live stream. I genuinely don't know what else I could do.
That's right. And, there's nothing wrong with your content. It's excellent stuff. got a nice wit, and so I think you've got the formula right. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, that seems to be the case. I get a lot of comments on the wit, and I think it's a quite a British thing that people seem to like the sarcasm.
Yeah. So there's one thing that you spend a fair bit of time on this, and you already have a very busy life already, family and work. So how do you balance it all?
It's a good question. I guess most of the time I work on YouTube stuff will be in the morning or early afternoon, because when I've got so where I tutor school age kids, they're not out of school till about 3 o'clock. So I've got most of the day free. So I will balance the days from doing YouTube stuff and studying at the degree whilst the kids are at school and nursery. And then once they're back though from school and nursery, I don't get a chance to do anything but deal with the kids. So or work. So really, it's very much a get up in the morning, get the kids off, then I'll work on YouTube or do study, and then it's work, and then kids again. It is busy.
I can understand them. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Actually, I just can't spend the amount of time on YouTube that I would like, and I don't have any kids, so you're doing very well. I got to ask, so in your general life, what do you think is your most proud achievement?
But my most proud achievement in life, well, it's got to be the kids. I think we've got my wife and I have got 2 sons together, and we've both got daughters from previous relationships, and I think seeing them grow up, even though they're still relatively young, the youngest is 4 in January, seeing them grow up and be young children and the 2 girls coming into young adults is a very proud thing, definitely. And in terms of achievements in my life, they'll always be the number one. Everything else will be second to that.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for that. So I see you have a keen interest in astronomy, and now you're going to start with some videos on astronomy. And you have said that you look up in the sky and see physical objects, and it does annoy you a bit that people say they don't exist as you see them. What's your take on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's always been my intention to move towards more educational stuff, especially in the astronomy side of things. But yeah, I do get annoyed because I spend a lot of time out looking through my telescope and taking photos and stuff. And, you can see real objects. It's not, when you're just looking up without the telescope, they look like stars. They, the light hits them and they look like really bright stars. But when you're looking for a telescope, you can see the physical objects. Something like Venus, where you can see the phases of Venus at any time it's visible. There's no other explanation for that other than it's on an orbit inside ours going around the sun. That's it. There's no other explanation. So it is annoying that people refute that, especially when they probably have never even looked through a telescope.
Exactly. I find it is one of the things for me. People love to talk about things that they know nothing about and talk about it as if they know everything about it.
Very confidently as well. They do.
Exactly. And then the people who don't know any better, the people who can't do the science themselves, they see how confident they speak about it, and then they start to believe it.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people say on the flat earth side, how can you look into the sky and know what's the shape below? They cannot understand this. So, you got any words for them about refuting that?
Yeah. I mean, but by some chance you can understand that point if you're not someone that studied astronomy or earth sciences or anything like that, you can understand that point. Why we're looking up to have anything to do with the shape of the planet. But I think there's three big things with flat Earth that you have to try and convince people or to prove to people that are real. One is the curvature. The second is gravity, because that is kind of a key for a lot of other things. And the third is the fact that space is real and we orbit the sun. So if you can tick off that third one, that space is real and that we do orbit the sun as we claim, then that's kind of like a doorway into the other two. Because, you know, as soon as we're saying that this is real, as soon as we can prove for observation that this is real, that we do orbit the sun, gravity comes next, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't directly tell you that it's the shape of the Earth, but it tells you a lot about the solar system, our place in it, and how the sun has an influence on everything in it.
It's that sort of knowledge. It all fits together as a whole system, which
Absolutely.
people that want to believe that the Earth is flat, they'll look outside and go, oh, yep, looks flat to me. But they don't take into account all the other things that are happening around. I find it astounding, actually.
Absolutely, they don't at all.
And I know you're of the same opinion as me, more or less, about debating seems to be fairly useless.
Yeah.
Because no matter what you say, they'll just refute it. But they're very, very good masters of wordsmithing, I call them.
Yeah, they are. Some of them are very slippery. You know, they know the words to say. They know how to cast doubt. They know how to refute you. They know everything. You know, they won't accept any scientific proof that you give them. The only way you can battle them is to do it in their kind of in their lingo. You have to find out what's acceptable for proof for them and then work on that if you want to try and turn them around. Normal science isn't going to cut it because they're just going to say it's not real or it's pseudoscience.
That's pretty insightful. Yes, I never thought of it that way before, because I notice now, I mean, there's some very simple observations you can do that can tell you that it can't be flat, but flatties don't want to look at it. They don't want to do the measurements. They don't want to see it. It's just what you can't see can't hurt you.
Absolutely. And I find as well with the scientific method, so that a lot of them are like real stringently strict on the scientific method, but they tend to have a misunderstanding on what the scientific method actually is. You know, they have this framework which they believe is supposed to be, you know, the observable, the repeatable, all of this nonsense that they carry on banging on about. And the truth is they've probably never, you know, constructed or and done an experiment in their life. Yeah, but they seem to be experts on the scientific method when they've got no experience in it.
That's the case. They seem to be experts on everything, but masters of nothing except maybe wordsmithing. So,
yeah.
and
some of them even aren't very good at that.
Yeah. So I don't troll through all the comments on your videos, but do you engage in many debates on your videos?
Very, very rarely. I try to read as many comments as I can, and I'll like comments that, you know, from people who are supportive. But I do get a lot of comments that aren't supportive. The ones that are just offensive, I'll ignore. If they're vulgar or racist or something like that, I'll delete them. If they're just offensive, I'll ignore them, or I'll take a screenshot of them for a comments video. But if it's someone who genuinely wants to engage in a subject, almost as if they're trying to understand it, then I will sometimes talk with people. But sometimes that conversation will also degrade and move into insults and things. So again, I'll just ignore.
Yeah, what I've found is that this is the pattern of flatty will make a statement like the Earth is flat, and you ask them why, and it gets into a discussion, and eventually they just come out with the insults.
Yeah, yeah. It's the same tactic every time, and you very rarely find someone on our side who, even if it's not going well for them, a talk or a discussion, very rarely will you find someone like us who will go down to that level and insult.
Yes, well, there are people, of course, on both sides that don't play the game all that nicely. But you got
absolutely.
But all the good guys, like you and I, and Wolfie and Reds and everything. Well, maybe not Reds. I don't
know. He's got a heart of gold, Reds. Underneath. He's soft underneath.
Yeah, I think he's a great guy. He's just I was just sort of making a comment about he uses his words a lot.
Yeah. He's funny, but he's soft heart. He's soft underneath.
Exactly. So, and another thing I've noticed, like you've copped a bit of flack about a few things. I mean, it's interesting. Everyone who enters this arena cops flack about something. So, in terms of if you don't show your face, it's you cop flack because of that. And for you, one of the things, you sit in a chair and do nothing, more or less, what people say. What do you say about that?
Yeah, no, I get a lot of that. It's a fair point. It was kind of my MO to begin with, so it's something that I thought was kind of a selling point for the channel. However, I do have plans. I think I mentioned this before in a video. I have got plans for experiments, but I'm not going to relate them to the flat Earth videos or to the other types of videos. They're going to be their own standalone things. They're going to be more the educational side of it. So I'm not going to do things just to appease the flat earthers. There's going to be a genuine scientific thing behind it, and it's going to be hopefully done in a way that has the background and the building up of the pieces of science you need before you go into any sort of experiment. So yes, I do cop flack for that. But when it comes from a flat earther, I don't really care.
And you've on Soundly's interview also, you mentioned you're going to now start adding extra things into your life, like running a marathon.
Well, I run anyway. Yeah, I run. I've done plenty of half marathons, and I run 2 or 3 times a week. But my first marathon will be next year, London Marathon. So, and then my second marathon will be later on that year in Berlin. So I've kind of a busy year next year, but it's always something I've wanted to do. It's a challenge that I've set myself. So hopefully, if the training goes right, I can get it done, and I'll be raising money for a good charity as well. So,
wow,
good thing all round.
Yeah, good thing all round. It's fantastic, and this is amazing because you're already a very busy guy, as far as I can see. So.
Yes, yeah, that's it now though. That nothing else. The marathon is the last thing.
Yes. Well, I've got this recorded now,
Yeah.
So one other thing. Oh, yes. Of course, you mentioned now SEAL Team 6. I didn't know anything about it until you mentioned it the other day. So, how's that going? That's it.
It's going good, yeah. So it started off as a bit of a joke because I got quite a few comments about working for NASA and being a shill for NASA and the government and all this. And I did a little sketch once at the beginning of a video, just as like a dig at those people, where I got a letter from NASA saying thank you for all my hard work and everything, and I got a guy that I know to do the agent to act it out for me. And I was the weekend before, I'd went to a place where there was a spacesuit and I could put my hands in and take a picture, and I made fun of those people. And it's kind of moved on from that now, and the idea is we're going to fill a team of 6 YouTubers who do what I do, and then more from there, I guess. Like we'll do things as a team and stuff like that. So that's the long-term plan. So
I think that's a
At the
great
moment,
idea. Yeah, fantastic idea.
yeah, it's just me and Conspiracy Cats at the moment, but we're looking for our third applicant.
How do you apply? How does someone apply?
It's a secret. It's a secret way. You know, the agent knows. He knows how it's done. So I'm not privy to that.
We will be contacted by the agent.
Yeah, the agent does all the work. Yeah.
When that agent appeared on your videos, that was so fantastic. I mean, that was a really good find for you. It's just amazing.
Yeah. It's a guy called Wolf. He's a great guy. He does my animations as well. And he's got his own channel where he does little comedy sketches and stuff, and other bits and pieces. But he's very talented.
That's fantastic. All right, look, I think I'm out of questions. Really, is there something else you would like to discuss? Maybe.
Anything you want. I said I'm open to anything. I'm open to anything.
Because I've gone through my list here, and I've gone through everything on my list. I'm just thinking about people have asked you before about this. Is like the whole gate video thing is just it's an amazing thing because none of us would have ever seen it before.
No, and funny enough, I didn't actually like that video. I made it, and whilst editing it, I thought, this is not one of my best. I'm not too keen on this. And I was going on holiday for a long weekend for my uncle's 60th birthday up in Penrith in North England, and we were driving, and I thought, I've got to get it done. I'll just do it. I'll release it, and go from there. And I released it on the Friday morning, drove up to Penrith 6 hours later, and everything had happened whilst I was driving up. And I think I got about 5,000 subs in that day, and then it was 8,000 subs the next day, and then went back down to 5,000 subs again. So it was 18,000 subs over 3 days. And I just could not believe what was happening because the amount of comments were increasing as well, and the likes and things, and it completely took me by surprise because I'd had nothing like that before that at all.
Yeah, well, nobody else has seen anything like that before that. You were the first one, but you're not the only one now.
No. That's got legs in it still. That Wolfie one with the flat out flat out hero. I've seen a couple of science websites pick it up as well. The story.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfie, he couldn't have got it better. Some guy who doesn't know anything at all about aviation challenges him on an aviation challenge. I mean, really?
Yeah, that's that's on a plate for him, isn't it? Really
served on a plate, exactly.
Yeah.
Something. Oh well, I can still hope for something like that for myself. I don't know.
I think it's just it's whoever YouTube fancies that day. I think that's all it is. If you've got a title that's appealing, and a thumbnail that's interesting. I think Sean Hufford said he saw me on the trending list, number 7 on the trending list.
Yes.
Of the YouTube homepage. So that explains why it went off with the gate. But I've obviously benefited off the back of that because it's carried on ticking over nicely since then.
Exactly. I know you weren't expecting everything to get so big so quick. So how were you able to handle this like sunrise to fame?
I wasn't really at first because I guess because of the whole rushing up to my holiday. If it was a normal weekend and I had time to process what was going on over that weekend, it probably would have been a bit easier. But because I was on this long weekend on holiday and we had the kids and every day was busy, and I'd sit down in the evening and I'd have 4,000 comments to go through, and it was just everything. I was processing everything in one evening. I had no time in the day to look at things. Not on a normal weekend after a release. I'll have a look here and there in the afternoon and later in the morning, see what's going on. But because of the whole, how quick it happened and how little time I had to realise what was going on, it kind of hit me quite quickly, and it took me a good couple of weeks to realise that I was, on 40,000 subscribers. And but luckily it did slow down, so I could start, catching up with things. But still, it's been a good rate since then.
Yeah.
I think about 1,000 a day, roughly.
Oh, nearly, yeah, almost 120,000. I think you're a couple of grand short of 120,000.
Yeah.
So, very well done. Congratulations. That's excellent.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So, okay. Well, I think you've got in your busy life, you've got something else after this. So,
I have, yeah. I've got a university tutorial that I've got to dial into and listen to.
Yes, and let me see. You read books. You love reading books. You're still reading books.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get much time to read books.
Well, there's a funny story actually. We did New Year's resolutions, me and the wife, at the beginning of this year, and mine was to read a book a week. And she said, "Oh, you won't do that. You won't do that." And being the typical stubborn guy, I was like, I will do that. So I read a book a week for 33 weeks. And then something, I can't remember what happened. Something happened. I think the kids were or something over the weekend, and I didn't finish one in time, so I kind of blew it. But I got to 33 weeks, so I did 33 books in a row once a week. And it was brilliant. I loved it. I might do it again next year. Try and do the whole year.
My hat goes off to you if we can just do this, see?
Yeah. They're mainly science books, though. They're mainly I mean, there's the odd fiction book here and there, but it was mainly science. Richard Dawkins. Well, I've got them all up there. Bill Bryson. I like a bit of Bill Bryson. He's funny.
Okay, so I mean, everybody asks. I think you've been asked this question before, but everybody asks about how much future is there in flat Earth? How long do you think it's got?
It depends, really. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I do believe that we are making some sort of headway. The likes of you and I. But it's slow. It's slow progress. Things like the private space agencies, SpaceX, Virgin, that are increasing their funding into trying getting up to space and things like that. That will surely be a time when it can't be anymore. But you know what they're like. They'll have something. The windows of the spacecraft are curved, which makes. I heard someone the other day say eyeballs are curved, or something like that, which means that you're going to see flat as. This is how ridiculous they would go. I don't think it's just anti-science. It's anti-science. They'll move on to something else. If flat Earth was completely disproven, they'll move on to something else.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and I think you're well prepared to get into that arena because you deal with all kinds of different crazies, not just flat Earth.
Yeah, the Tuesdays. Yeah, it's time travel tomorrow.
Okay, I can't wait to see that.
It's a bit. Wow, it's a bit of a. You take it with a pinch of salt, that one, because as far as we know, that's the damning sentence. As far as we know, you can't go back in time. Physics doesn't allow it. So.
But anyway, you never know. Somebody may discover something one day. But
true.
But most of my experience is these people are just a little bit mistaken, I think is probably the way to put it.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay, Dan, and I think we will wrap it up. You got any closing comments? Anyone you want to shout out to or something? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess just the normal channels, just the normal channels. A couple of the smaller ones. Planner Walk, he's great. Rusty Walker is good. MC Toon, because because the big ones get a lot of attention. The smaller ones they do just as good as work as we do. So we need to get them attention as well.
Agreed. Thank you. I think, yeah, the more viewers we can get, the less chance it is for the flatties and their mates.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's the end game. Stop them.
Okay, Dan. I can call you Dan, and that's what. Yes.
Yeah, of course you can.
And thanks very much. It's been absolutely wonderful to be able to get to interview you, and I hope that I'll be able to talk to you again sometime in the future. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. No worries at all.